Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to talk you through a gents scissor cut. I've got my friend Callum here, and you may have seen Callum before. He's been in one of my other videos, but and it was all about scissor cutting. I'm going to talk you through exactly how I would scissor cut, and you can ask me questions while I do it, and I'll try and answer them at some point during the live stream. So the first thing that we want to do with hair when you're scissor cutting it is wet it down. Hair is hygroscopic, so it will absorb water, and in the hair there is a hydrogen bond, and when we wet it down it breaks that bond and it releases the hair into its natural state. So if you ever think of somebody who's been wearing a hat or sleeping on the side of the head, the hair gets stuck in that position, and when you wet it down it goes back to the natural state. So I prefer to get the hair all nice and relaxed and then start the scissor cutting. So we've got quite a lot of hair here, and this hair is going to be cut to around about the top of the ear and swept back and tapered in with the scissors towards the back. Now I really like these types of cuts because it gives me a chance to really transform the way that my client looks, and you can make a big impact with a cut like this because we've got lots of hair to remove today. So I'm going to turn him around, and we want to try and manage the hair in a way because there's a lot of hair to manage. I'm going to bring in a bit closer so you can see. I'm just using this 6-inch scissor here, and I picked that up. That's a scissor that Quarter Steel sent to me. That's probably adequate for what we're doing here. I want to cover broad sections, and initially what I really want to do is reduce the bulk of the hair that I'm cutting. So I'm going to start here in the middle and take sections across the crown like this, and then back this way. Okay, so first section, I'm going to pull that out there, and I'm pulling it out at about 90 degrees to the head. Okay, if I turn you a little bit like this, you may be able to see that. And what I want to do is get the comb right in at the very root of my section and pull it out so it's nice and smooth. We don't want hair in there that isn't completely straight. It's not a big deal if it's not right now, because what we will do is we'll refine what we're going to do anyway. Okay, there's my first section cut, and I'm going to step over to the right of that now, and or your left, and I'm just going to take another section. Now there's some short hair there, you can see that, and I'm going to trim that down, the long hair down to the same length as that short hair that I just cut. Okay. Quite a lot of people joining in now, saying hello. Okay, another section. Just step over to the right again, and this is the easy part. Okay, don't be too scared about getting it wrong because I'm going to refine this anyway. There's that short hair that I just cut, and I've got my long hair, so I've got a guide in there. I need to just look through the section and cut to that, and I'll step across again, take another section. Now, I don't know about you, if you're learning how to cut hair, this is probably a good place to start, at the back of the head. I mean, it's okay if you're a professional as well, but if you're just learning, the back of the head is a great place because your client isn't actually looking at the work that you're doing. And if you feel nervous, come round to the back and start there, and they're not staring at the work and judging it, okay? So you have the chance to cut without being under pressure and get used to the client's hair. So I'm coming over to the left hand side now, over this way. We'll pick this up. Again, I'm just looking for that short hair that's in amongst the long hair, and I'll cut to that length. Again, you see that? You see the short hair there? Okay, So let's trim down to that length. And again. All right, so we've covered this whole area here now, and you can't actually tell that it has been cut. When you comb it down, it doesn't look like it's been cut, but you just saw how much hair came off. This is, I suppose, like a layering process, right? And we can decide to take this hair here down as short or shorter, and we're going to take it shorter. So what I tend to do, you'll probably see me go in with the scissors and pick the hair up on the comb like that and cut across, but this is too long here. What will happen is the hair, I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so you can see this. The hair, when I pick this up on the scissor, it starts to collapse. There's a bend in the hair, you know, and I don't want that. It's too long for me to scissor over comb without any tension. So what I'm going to do is I will use the big teeth of the comb, and I'm going to go down a little bit lower, pull out a section down here. I'm just going to shorten this. I'm debulking the area. I can see the short hair from the hair that I cut further up the head, and I'll take that bulk down, and this is going to make it easier for me to cut here. Again, I don't need to be too fussy, right? I just need to roughly take down that bulk. I mean, look for your guide. Look for it. I mean, there's some short hair there. That's roughly where the guide is. I can take that down. I'm not being too fussy because, or too particular, because I know that I'm going to cut this shorter anyway, from about there down to there. There to there will be a lot shorter. So step over to here now. We'll take that bulk down, so make my life easier. It's a bit dry, that. I'm going to wet it down with some more water before I start scissor over combing. So I've switched to a 7-inch scissor now, and this is a scissor that came from quartered steels. I don't know what sort of length you normally use, but when I'm scissor over combing, I like to use a long scissor, a broad section. So I'll probably pick up as much as I can on the comb, and I want to take broad sections. So there'll be like basically one section here, there'll be a broad section there, and one there, and then I'll join the two together. Best that I show you that to explain it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera in quite close for you to see this. Okay, so this is all manageable now. It's a length that we can work with. If I slide the scissor in there and put the comb underneath, okay, I can see I've got this here. I want it to come down to about there, okay? So I'm picking up that hair, and I want it to rest about there, so that I've got some hair from the top down and a nice shape, a curved shape. So I think about that much off. So I'm going to go in with the scissor, trim that away. Now this is my marker point, okay? I'm going to work down from here. Scissor in, underneath, and there's that marker point, okay? I'm going to go in, just drop the comb down slightly, and I'll cut across again. Okay, and then in again. It is a touch long for this technique, but I think I can work with it. Just keep stepping down towards the nape of the neck and trim down. So you can see we've tapered right down there towards this point, and this is really where the hairline is. Okay, still have a lot of weight up there, right on this ridge here. I'm going to deal with that later, but before I do that, I'll step across just to this section here, and I'm going to make sure that what I do is I pull all the hair from the front out of here and out of there, and I'll just work down this area here. Okay. So scissor in, cut across, scissor in, comb underneath, cut across, a little bit long hair there. And again, working your way down, all the way down towards the bottom. Not bad. There is a little bit of hair there. Let's get on the side. Let's get that. Okay, don't worry about this. Or, you know, if you want to, you can tidy it up right now. Just hold the ear out of the way, scissor down the back of the ear, and trim. Okay, well, actually, no. I think I'm going to take that slightly shorter, just that area there. We'll repeat the process. Scissor in, comb underneath. It's okay to change your mind about what you're doing. I just felt like I wanted to take that down a little bit more. Okay. We'll turn around to this side now. Okay. Try and move you in nice and close. So the scissors going in, pick the hair up, cut across. Remember, it's just flipping the comb with these 3 fingers, okay? 3 fingers do the flipping. Comb goes in. The hair is just nice and natural. It's rested in its natural state. Okay, if I pull this hair out under tension, when I let go, it'll do something else. It'll curve in like that, or go in whatever way it wants to go. So this is why I like cutting this way. I get the hair in its natural state. I'm not saying that cutting hair with tension is wrong. I cut hair with tension all the time, but if you want to see the hair lay as it wants to, then without tension is quite useful. Over by this here, I'll just get rid of this bulk here. Okay. Right, so a little bit of water on the area. And I'm going to start refining this a little bit. Okay, we've really dealt with the bulk. I've got this really big ridge here now, right here. There's like a real lot of weight, so I want to take that down there. I'm going to turn Callum a little bit, and I'll be able to show you exactly why it's like that. So if I lift this hair up here, you can see that there's this little corner sticking out there, and that's what's causing this ridge here along the back. Whenever you see a ridge, it means that there's probably hair from further up that's reaching all the way down, and you need to reduce that to take the weight off the ridge. So say this hair, it's reaching all the way down there. We want to bring it up to about here, and the same with this hair here. Bring it up, and then that will reduce the weight on the ridge. So okay, so we're taking the weight down. I'm going to get closer to this little ridge now. You can see there's just a small corner. Let's get rid of it. Often when you pick up hair like that and you find this little corner, that's what's causing weight or like heavy lines in your haircut. This is starting to look a bit nicer now. Let's right, so a little bit more water. It's drying out at the edges here. A little bit more water. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this whole area one more time, and I'm going to just refine it. This will be the last time round before I dry it. We've got all this hair. This will be hair that you get with the little trimmer. And I will keep Callum about there, and I'm just going to work over. I'm going to use Scissor-over-comb from the top all the way down to the bottom now. This area that I debulked. Okay. I'm just looking for any hair that would be sticking out that doesn't belong. It's like a sort of a double check. I don't know if any of you followed Vidal Sassoon's work, very famous hairdresser, but he would always have numerous cross checks of his work as he was working or at the end, and you should always do that. I always do it. It doesn't take long. I'm kind of working in sections towards the nape here, because look at the flow of the hair. It kind of flows that way. So let's work that way. All right, this is looking good. We've got that well under control. Obviously there's still all this hair here, this neck hair to deal with, but I'll come back to that. I like to use the little trimmer when the hair is dry. It just works much better on dry hair, and it really finishes it nicely. Okay, so let's go to this side over here. I'll get a bit more water. Don't let your hair dry out. Out of interest, I will check the comments shortly. I can see there's a lot of comments, but what length of scissor would you personally use for this type of work? A lot of people can't work with a 7-inch scissor. I do also work with a 6-inch scissor, which is a bit more manageable as well, but I chop and change between the two. I like to have a couple. And Quartered Steel sent me out these tiny little scissors as well, and they're quite good for texturizing, but for this you would be there all day. But I will hopefully use these in another video where I'm texturizing hair later. Right, so remember we took sections from the back, round the back, like debulking. I'm just going to follow that forward all the way to the temple now. So comb in. Try and make a section that's the width of your comb, okay? You don't really want any more hair than that. You don't want like a section that's that big, taking the whole lot. You just want the width of the comb, because that's a manageable amount and it's quite neat. So comb in, get it right in at the very root, and smooth your section out. There we go. And again, work towards the front. Now remember, this is going to be cut to around about the length of the top of the ear, and that's quite a refined piece of work, but we need to get this bulk down first. Okay, we need to make it manageable to be able to do that. Right, this is dry, so I need to wet that down again now. Here we go, and there's some long hair from the face. This is facial hair here, and head hair. Two different things. You can see that facial hair has a coarser texture, and I tend to I will deal with the bulk of that with the scissors, but I'm going to trim that also with the little trimmer once I've got the hair dry afterwards. So let's get in close. Okay. Right, so from the temple, scissor in, and I'm just about like half an inch down. So my section is that first like half inch, you know, from my part in there, okay? And I have to think about where that's going to lie in relation to how much hair I'm going to take off. I want to reach the ear eventually, but I don't want this hair to reach all the way down to the ear. I want it to reach to probably about there. So I'm going to take off around about that much, okay? And watch where it falls. It falls right there, okay? So now we can start working down from that point, okay? If we cut every section kind of to that length, scissor over comb, no tension, working our way down, keep stepping down. Now look, on the ear, I've got the comb right in front of the ear. I don't want to be here and cutting across the spine of the comb where the ear is. Make sure you cover the ear with plastic, like that. Just trim that off the face. I'm being careful not to go inside the hairline there. Okay, so here we are on the ear, working our way down towards the ear again. And when I get to the ear, the comb sits there on top of the ear. Okay, just for safety, right? We don't want the blades or the ear in between the blades. I've said that heaps of times in videos, and that relates to when I was training and I accidentally caught a little bit of someone's ear in the scissor, and it was a horrific experience for me. And my customer wasn't bothered, but yeah, I know, Callum, it was hilarious. But I used to see the guy in the supermarket and he never let me forget about it. It's horrible when it happens. So I'm working my way now towards, I'm taking sections towards this ear, the back of the ear now. Again, I said before, it's the direction that the hair goes. It slightly flows in that direction. It doesn't flow straight down. It flows slightly like this. You see how it's curving round? So I'm going to work towards the ear and go with the flow of the hair. Let the hair tell me where to go. Pull that ear down now and hold that out of the way and just cut away from the ear again. All right, this is starting to look kind of a lot neater now. Might have to address that long hair there. We'll see later. Let's go round to the other side. Okay. We need more water. It's starting to dry out, this hair, so I'm going to just pull the camera out a little bit, guys, there, and there we are. Plenty of water. A little bit more. So I'm going to section this again on the top, pretty much from the recession point to the back of the crown, to the crown, I say the back of the crown, and I'll just push that over there. I don't really need clips because the hair is long enough to hold itself out of the way, and it's wet, so it's heavy, okay? More water. That's one thing we've got absolutely heaps of, water. So don't hold back with the water, just throw it on. Don't give your client a shower, but like plenty of water. Right, so I'm going to turn your head a little bit like that, Cam. So again, from there to the temple, I'm just going to take down the bulk again. Right, the bulk's down, and then we just have to deal with this area here now. Scissor over comb, like we did before. Rather than start at the temple, I'm going to start here because I have a guideline here and I can work forward from the guideline. It's just the way I like to work. I mean, you don't have to go that way. To me, it's a methodical way of working. I know I went from the temple on the other side, but I'm going to go from the crown towards the front here. I actually move the camera a little bit, guys, just a moment. Okay. Right. I'm going to cut this section here. I'll cut towards the front of the head to the temple there, and then I'll answer a few of your questions, and then we'll get on with the top. Okay, I'll take a look at the questions in a moment. Comb underneath. When you get down towards the ear, just keep that comb on top, and then very satisfying method, this. I get asked a lot, why do I not cut from the bottom to the top, scissor over comb? Well, what happens is, if you cut from the bottom to the top, imagine all that hair that was lying there before. I'd pick it up and all the hair on top would be hanging over it. So that means I've got to cut the hair at the bottom and the hair that's hanging over, and that's just going to be more difficult. So I like to start at the top, cut away. I've got less hair in the comb, and as I work my way down, it's just easier. It's a more manageable amount of hair. So take a little bit more weight from this area above the ear. I'll carry on with the top if there's no questions. So let's wet that down, and we will make some more progress on this. So again, water, plenty of water on the hair. All right. I'm quite fortunate. Callum's hair, you know, it's really good hair to work with. It's slightly wavy, and that's really excellent hair to be cutting because it's forgiving. Straight hair or very curly hair pose different problems. Very curly hair will actually recoil on itself. So when you're cutting it, if you cut it to the length you think it's going to be under tension, when you let go of it, it's going to curl up much tighter. The same can be said with straight hair. You need to be aware that if you take too much off, it's not going to recoil, but it might stand on end because it doesn't have enough weight to hold it down. So let's progress with the top here. There's different ways that you can cut the top of the head. You could work from the back towards the front. You could take what's called a profile section down the middle, okay? The profile section, you would lift it up, cut it, you know, say to like a certain line, and then as you work your way forward, you could see your profile section. On this occasion, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the hair from the front towards the back. The hairstyle at the end, I'm going to style it that way. I'll brush it back, I'll blow dry it back, and we'll see how it's sitting like that, but I think I want to see, as I'm cutting it, I want to cut from the front to the back so that I know I have enough length when I'm cutting it for it to lie back in a nice position, okay? You have to think about where you want the hair to lie. So if I comb this back at the moment, I can see that hair from the front there. Okay, it's reaching all the way back to the crown area. That's quite long. And the other hair from the top's hanging right over the back of the occipital bone there. So we need to deal with all of this. And really what I want to do is I want it layered. And if you don't know what layering is where the hair would sit, imagine, in different layers, right? So say I cut my first section about this height and it lies about there, and then the next one's there and there and there, and then all the way back to this occipital bone here. That's layering, and it creates a nice texture on the hair once it's when it's complete, when it's finished. So let's do a little bit of layering now. I mean, I layered the sides. Most men's haircuts are layered haircuts of some description. Okay, so let's just pull all this long hair over here. It's quite handy that I made this short area and I have all this long hair on top, because that makes it easier for me to separate. You know, I can go like that and the short hair won't actually come over. I know I have all the long hair here and I have this nice line. So from the front, I'm going to pick up, remember, just about the width of the comb. Okay, so a comb width, right? And then we'll pick that up around about there, and just, I'm taking like about half of that. I'll bring you in closer so you can see. All right. So again, pick up from the front, and there's my short hair that I cut before. You can see the little short hairs there. Let's trim down now to that length. Okay, put that over to the side, right? And what I'm going to do is go in with the teeth of the comb right in between those two sections, and I'm just going to basically put the teeth right on the scalp and pick up another section there. There's the short hair, and I have some long hair from behind that, and I'll just cut across. Okay, so comb that over again, and again I just put the comb in roughly right in the middle of the section I just cut, and I'll pick up again. There we are. See? So I have some long hair and some short hair. Now, what do you think of my elbow position here? It's very high. Okay, this is probably too high. I've got my elbow up high. Two ways to deal with that is that I could put this chair down a little bit, or you know, I could use some kind of cutting method where I keep the scissor like this and my elbow down like that. I find that really awkward, you know, so I'm probably just going to put Callum down a little bit. It's going to be easier, less strain on me, and I'll put you down as well a little bit. There we go. Okay, so comb all that over, and we'll pick up another section. It's a bit easier for my elbow, that better position, not so high and not so much strain, and I'll cut across. Again, I'm just going to work my way all the way back now with this hair, all the way to the back. This is my normal kind of cutting speed. I work about this speed in the shop. When I'm doing tutorials, I do tend to slow it down a little bit, but you get the idea from the back to the front. Okay, so all right, now what we're going to have here on the side is, because I cut that hair down to a length there, there's going to be an area where I need to connect the top and the side. And at the moment, this is going to be super long, like it's going to hang over the side. So what I need to do now is I need to pick up a section that includes both the top and the side together and pull them out at this angle, okay? And I'll turn Callum a little bit so you can see. So if I start about here and I pull this section out, wait, I'm going to get more water. That'd be a good idea. Just comb that back. Right, so if I take a section here, I can see, look, there's some short hair at my fingertips there. That's that hair from the top that I've already cut. And then down here underneath, there's going to be some short hair as well. See if I can get a cleaner view of that for you. You can see? So I have short there, and I want to connect the two. Like that. I'm going to work my way back, okay? Comb that back. Just try and flip the hair out. Already it's starting to look a bit more like it flows together. This hair at the front here, I need to connect that in as well because I didn't pull a section out there. I'm just going to pull this out and trim that down. Okay. Now that I've done that, what I'm going to do, now that I've made this connection, I'm just going to quickly go over it again. Just scissor over comb, just check for any abnormalities in that. Any long hair. I feel happy with that. Okay. And you can see the difference from that side to this side here, where it's much longer still. Okay. I will bring you guys down a little bit. Okay, right. So let's wet that down. Who can remember what we started with, by the way? You remember how much hair we started with here? I'm not sure when you joined the live feed, but at the start we had a huge mountain of hair to work through. Callum's been good to me. He's saved his hair for a really good live feed, so... right. We're making that connection again, okay? So we had the short hair on top. We've already got this short hair on the side, and we need to connect the two. So if I pick this up, and I look for... Let's get that out of the way. Look for... There's some short hair on my fingertips. And at the top, you can see that there's some short hair there as well, right there on the knuckle. So let's bring that down to match in from the bottom to the top of the section, and I'll work my way back from there. Now, I've tied in the sides, right? I've cut the top and I've tied in the sides there. But what I didn't do was I didn't tie in the top and the back there. Okay, so these haven't been connected. So let's have a look to see if there's any kind of corner to come off, anything there that we need to look at. If I lift that up, there's a slight corner there on that area. I'll work my way across, just make sure. There's a little corner again. And another little corner there. Right, I think I want to now cross-check the top. Okay, so the top, you can see how it's all working nice and smoothly. It's going from the top all the way through to the back. Looks good so far to me, but what I want to do is I want to pick this up and I want to look for any like bumps in my sections, okay? I can't see anything there from the back to the front, okay? I'll bring it in even closer so you can see as well. Hey Callum, Kit Kat says, I wish I had hair as nice as his. Someone says, my sexy favourite barber. Decent. Okay. My clients don't call me that. I wish they did. You know. Decent. Right. So. Okay. We'll show you a little bit more cross-checking. That's what I was doing, cross-checking. And we've got this area to connect at the back as well. So I'm looking for bumps. There's a little bump there. Let's take that down. And Callum, it is true, like this is ideal hair. Like if I was going to be taking part in a barber competition, slightly wavy, relaxed hair is probably the easiest thing that you could compete with. I mean, it would really show your skill if you were working with really straight hair or really curly hair. And, you know, some people are very good at that as well. You want to try to be honest, to learn how to cut hair with all hair types. For the scissor cutting section here, I'm nearly complete on the wet scissor cut. We still have clipper work to do, and a little bit more scissor work. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this forward here, and I'm going to take just this tiny little corner off the front. Okay, I'll do that here as well. And what that's going to prevent is when you brush this back, you might get like a little ridge line where the very first layer of hair is forming like a weight area, an area of weight. So, looking good. Right, I'm going to dry this off now, and then we'll start doing the clipper work and a little bit more scissor work, and we'll see how it's all looking. Maybe over there. All right. Hair dryer. This is a new hair dryer that I recently got. Diva Atmos. It's one of these lightweight, high-powered hair dryers. I don't know, do you like them? I'm not that convinced either way whether I want that or an old school hair dryer. They don't seem to have the power of the old school hair dryer. Like the air is very fast, but sometimes they just feel weak. But nevertheless, I use it in the shop and it has a lot of force. So tell me your preference in the comments. One thing I will say is these round brushes are really good. These are cricket brushes. Loads of barbers use cricket brushes. They're actually dead handy. They've got like a rubber grip, and for some reason the head of it is perfect for short hair. I've been using cricket brushes for 24 years. Like I've been using them so long, and I mean I'm not endorsing them. I don't earn a commission. I just recommend, if you can get a cricket brush, get one, because they're really good. So it does help if you start drying from the back if you want. You can start shaping it, but with short hair you can also just get away with just blow drying it straight back from the front if you want. If you were on longer hair, you would be trying not to put wet hair on top of dry hair, or dry hair onto wet hair, because it would just take you forever. Alright, we're getting there. Callum has quite thick hair, so it's taken a while to dry. It's a good idea to try and get it as dry as possible. One tip I heard was, I'll turn this off so you can hear me. One tip I heard with drying is dry the hair until it's dry and then dry it for a further minute. That's great for certain hair types. I mentioned curly hair before. When it comes to curly hair, I would probably dry it to around about 80%, okay? When it comes to straight hair, you maybe want to dry it on your hottest setting that's not going to be uncomfortable for the client, because that heat will let you manipulate the hair more. Hair does bend with heat. This is easy because it's, as I said, it's a relaxed hair type, so you can kind of blow dry it quite easily. But you want it to be dry. Very important that it's dry at the sides and at the back, because we're going to do some clipper work there. Alright, that's good. So I'll bring it in close. I'm going to put you on another camera here. Sorry about all the noise. There's a lot of vehicles going past outside, making quite a lot of noise. Okay, so this is going to be the most fun bit, is like cutting in straight lines, neatening up the whole taper, and neatening up around the sides. So I turn Callum a little bit, and so right here at the back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a straight line that goes from the back of the ear there right down to the nape of the neck, and I don't want to start curving round. I want this line to be straight. If you've seen many of my videos, you'll notice that I do that a lot. Okay, so that's nice and straight there. Let's try and get a little bit more. The back of the ear, just hold the ear out of the way and use the corner of the blade. I need to be careful not to go inside the hairline, so just the hair that's hanging out over the hairline I'm wanting to cut there, okay? Callum, will I just, do you want me to square these sides like around about the bottom of the ear?
That'd be great.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
So
fine, thank you.
I'm just going to square these here. And then I'm going to use the comb. And what I want is the depth of the comb to be the depth of the facial hair. So the comb goes in and it's flat against the head, and then I can trim it over comb to reduce that down to the length I want. Just brush that out of the way. I get a lot of comments about the subscribe brush. It appears every now and again, so don't forget to subscribe. Although this is a live stream, so you're probably all subscribed anyway, and I appreciate that. I'm going to turn Callum around here now, and look, from one side to the other, you can see the difference, okay? There's still a lot of work to be done on that side. This side's starting to get a lot neater. This is a bit too long here, so it's going to take a little bit of tapering up. We'll bring up the neckline slightly. Not a neckline, sorry, a taper. We'll taper that up. Clipper over comb. So round this side. Okay. Right here. Now, a good way if you're trying to match up sides is, I'm going to just move this out of the way here, and I'm going to show you, is to look in the mirror at your, whatever you're cutting, okay? I'll move you right now here a little bit. So what I tend to do is I'll be looking in the mirror, and I'll put a finger here, and I'll put a finger here, and I'll match up, okay? So I'll look straight in the mirror, and then I'll see if my fingers are level. Like, are they level? I'll maybe bring this one up slightly, okay? Not that one, this one. Bring that up slightly, okay? A millimeter. The reason that you would do that is because human ears are not normally level. So you need to like use a visual marker, like draw with your fingers through. You can do that anywhere on the head, okay, to try and get, you often see hairdressers doing that where they pull the hair down and they look in the mirror to see if it's level on both fingers. So that's a good way for you to match up the sides on each side of the head. All right. So, like we've gone round with the trimmer, round with the scissors. What I like to do when it's dry is to then go round the haircut, and I will check to make sure that the whole haircut is even. I'll make sure it's even, and I'll make sure that there's no like long hair sticking out anywhere. So I'm having a double check now with the scissors to make sure that I have a good haircut. And you'll always find something. There's always something. I like to think of it as polishing your work. Like right here, I have a little bit of weight. I can see that there's a little bit extra weight there. There's just a slight ridge between sharp points. I'm going to trim that down a little bit. Oh, we're forgetting this, okay? This little taper. Okay, let me bring you in. So, a little trimmer, and we'll take this up slightly to around about there. This is where the hairline is, so I'm going to go up to that on these pointed areas. Now that's really square, like it looks really unnatural, it doesn't belong. So I'm going to soften it now with the little trimmer using Trimmer-over-comb, okay? So initially I'll just pull that down, and then I'm going to start lifting it up and just trimming away a little bit of weight from above the line. Just softening it a little bit. So it's coming down there. I've made this heavy line slightly softer. To me, that looks more natural now. I feel like it belongs a bit more. It doesn't look too heavy. Let's go round and carry on the just that scissor work. I'll take my big 7-inch quartered steel scissor now, and I'm gonna just, there it was. Look, a little long hair there. There's another one. So, see, I'm not really taking much off. I'm just going around looking for little long hairs that maybe don't belong. They shouldn't be there. That's fine. And then just scissor over comb up through the hair, taking very, just dust, just the very ends off. That makes it extra smooth. Tell me what you think of this process. Do you think you could do it, or do you find it convoluted? Is it too much work? Is there an easier way? It's the method I use. I've been using this for 24 years, and it works for me. I honestly enjoy it when a client comes in and they want a scissor cut. I really do. I think, like, I do a lot of clipper cuts. That's the majority of the work still, but what I find is I'm getting less and less fades. There's less of a demand for it. People don't want that quite so much anymore. And they want longer hair. So it's worth learning all of that. These combs are great when you're finishing off your client's hair. Just the Pompadour comb. Jack and Dean Pompadour comb. Let me get a bit of light on this. It's hard sometimes to see on dark hair, but they can create a nice texture in the hair. And if you want to show the client the mirror, you could finish it nicely with these, and it looks great. So I don't know if you remember what we started with. It was quite a lot of hair, and now it's sitting really nice and neat. You can see very classic style, flowing nicely, whole head scissor cut with a trim around the edges. Tell me what you think. I'm just going to have a quick look at the comments. You can have a look at Callum's hair from this side as well. Much. Lots of great comments there. Oh, there was a... Someone says, can I trim your eyebrows? Look, it's, the man's got character. All right. Unbelievable. Do you want the eyebrows trimmed?
Is that actually a thing?
Yeah.
Would that be alright actually?
Yeah.
Because Katie always like kind of says my eyebrows look absolutely ridiculous.
I hear that all the time. People say that about, you know, they get attacked by their wife with the wife's coming towards them with the tweezers. You know, it's like, what are you doing with them? Put them away. Right. So yeah, eyebrows. That's a really good question. Can I trim Callum's eyebrows? And he's game for it. So let's trim them. The best way to trim an eyebrow is, for me, is to comb the eyebrow out, comb it through, right? And you can see, look, there's some hair, long hair. We don't want to trim the whole eyebrow as short as the comb, okay? You just want the long hair because some of that hair underneath is still quite soft hair. So what I'll do is I'll comb it up like that, above, like comb it, so it's basically comb in, right? And we'll comb everything above. And then I'm going to run the clipper across the top. I'll bring it in real close so you can see. Okay. I'll bring the... oh, goodness. Right. It's holding there. It's holding. Okay. The MacBook almost fell on the floor, everybody. I'm going to go and secure it. There we go. Right. That's better. Right. No, you're right, right. Okay, so eyebrows. There we are. So if I comb it up and everything that's sticking out above the comb, I'm going to trim that away. So I'm just going to give his face a little blast with the hairdryer just to get the cut hair off. Calm the glasses, put the glasses on.
Thank you very much.
That's all right.
I think I'll just...
We on?
That's perfect.
All right. So, and I'll give the audience a little... just a look around the haircut one more time. Viewers. So you can see, nice and smooth. Cut with the scissors all the way through. I think there's a nice flow. If I was wearing this type of hair, it's the kind of hair that I wouldn't put any product in because I want to put my hands through it, you know? Like it's the type of hair that you brush your hands through to adjust it. You wouldn't be putting product in. It sits nicely without it. You see that side as well. Very classic haircut. Very commercial, highly commercial. If you're a barber, you want to learn how to cut hair like this because you'll be doing it a lot. And that's Callum's hair. I hope you've enjoyed the live stream, everybody. I'm going to try and get back on the live streams a bit more regularly. I've been chatting to someone at YouTube because of the channel has grown to a certain size and we've got a few subscribers now. YouTubers have suggested to me that I do some more live streams, so I will be back with some more live streams soon. But until next time, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to Callum, and good luck with your scissor cutting. I'll see you next time.